Ata Marie Kotu. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Unitarian Church on this fine but chilly, I guess it's a late spring morning, is the season. After our service, please join us for our sacrament of tea and a form of breaking bread together. Opening words are from William Wordsworth. The wiser person mourns less for what age takes away than what it leaves behind. By the way, my name is Barbara Thomborson. Paul, would you like the chalice, please? While I read our opening words who are from Unitarian minister Eric Hepburn. We light this flame to remind us love is the center. As we grow and connect, mature and deepen, love remains the center. Oh dear.
The other one, orange.
Oh, the orange one is better. You know, it's that kind of a morning.
I've tried both of them and now
Yay. Okay, I'll start again. We light this flame to remind us love is the center. As we grow and connect, mature and deepen, love remains the center. When the light of truth burns all else away, love remains. Do you have your hymnals? Because we were going to do the covenant next. Oh, the words are up there. Okay. Please, let's repeat the covenant together. Love is the doctrine of His church. The quest for truth is the sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony. Thus we covenant with each other and with our God. So the title of today's service is about aging and dying, and I have two readings related to this. The first are excerpts from the Buddhist nun Pema Chodron. Her book on How We Live is How We Die. How we live is how we die. How we deal with smaller changes now is a sign of how we'll deal with bigger changes later. How we relate to things falling apart right now foreshadows how we'll relate to things falling apart when we die. We can work with our general fear and anxiety about the fact that we're not in control of death. Most of the time, we would rather dwell in the illusion of control and certainty than recognize how life and death are always unpredictable. The second reading is from, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his long name, Muhammad Rumi, known more popularly as Rumi. He was a 13th century Persian poet, jurist, Islamic scholar, theologian, and Sufi mystic. This is his entire poem titled On Aging. Why does a date palm lose its leaves in autumn? Why does every beautiful face grow in old age, wrinkled like the back of a Libyan lizard? Why does a full head of hair get bald? Why is the tall, straight figure that divided the ranks like a spear now bent almost double? Why is it that the lion's strength weakens to nothing? The wrestler who could hold anyone down is led out with two people supporting him, their shoulders under his arms. God answers, they were wearing borrowed robes and pretended they were theirs. I take the beautiful clothes back so that you will learn that the robe of appearance is only a loan. Your lamp was lit from another lamp. All God wants is your gratitude for that. So I'm going into the main talk, which was titled RUMInations on Aging and Death. emphasis on the RUMInations in that word. Aging and death are two timeless themes, universal to our human experience. To echo Pema Chodron's words, I think we fear death partly because we cannot control or predict it. Our culture's near phobia about death has created unneeded anxiety and irrational fear about passing on, passing away, kicking the bucket, giving up the ghost, breathing your last, losing your life, expiring like you're a use-by date, okay, or croaking. That's a small sample of the euphemisms English has for dying. In her book, The Coming of Age, Simone de Beauvior says, the vast majority of humankind looks upon the coming of old age with sorrow and rebellion. It fills them with more aversion than death itself. Our youth-oriented culture has created another near phobia that tries to deny and defy aging. Many people are obsessed with looking young, especially in media and entertainment. This has contributed to ageism, or the prejudice against older people or older-looking people. Researchers have found that over the past 20 years, for more mature people, looking considerably younger than your age allows you to work longer and even have more choice in your employment. Consider these industries profiting from our fear of looking older than we are. Hair dyes, false eyelashes, painted eyebrows, plastic surgery, Botox, anti-wrinkle creams, injections, pills, medicine patches, and potions. Most of these target skin conditions, especially the dreaded wrinkles. On the horizon is epigenetic reprogramming, or longevity biotech, to slow down our genes' natural aging activity. More than men, women feel the pressure to keep looking young and, no surprise, buy these products to keep the appearance of youth. In hours of online research on this topic, I never once read or heard that this is sexism. Many women obviously have bought into it, literally and figuratively. It is certainly lookism, that is, valuing people for their looks rather than their humanity or the value that they bring to a group. It is also oppression. Hang on, I'm going to adjust this a bit better. Okay. It is also oppression. No, it's not working well enough. Third time. The term lookism has been around since the 1970s. The Korean webtoon titled Lookism has had a following of 8.7 million fans as in 2014. Yet launching it on Netflix has been delayed for over 2 years with flimsy excuses. If lookism is a new idea for you, it's worth integrating into your social awareness and values. This photo of Jane Fonda at age 88 exemplifies most of the 10 anti-aging products in that list I read out. I wish I looked half as good when I was 48. Frankly, it just ain't natural. All this industry and activity to cheat aging and dying come from the related phobias and feed them as well. It obstructs a graceful acceptance of the natural progression of aging and dying. It is certainly incompatible with finding the spiritual aspects of senescence and preparing for the whole experience of death, physical, emotional, and spiritual. We have only one chance at dying, and most of us will have enough warning to prepare for it. So let's make the most of it. In the newsletter description of this service, I promised you words of sages on aging and dying, not a rant on ageism, youth culture, and lookism. The 13th century Sufi mystic poet Rumi was my inspiration for this service. He wrote a lot about the process of death and its meaning. He says death is not merely the end of physical existence and can be a transformative journey towards spiritual enlightenment. For Rumi, death is a metaphor of the physical body's impermanence and the soul's eternal nature. While he never professed to an afterlife, Rumi had a strong intuitive sense of somewhere that our spiritual energy goes after it leaves our physical bodies. In his Ode 911, he wrote, "Death has nothing to do with going away. The sun sets and the moon sets, but they're not gone. Death is a coming together. The tomb looks like a prison, but it's really release into the unknown. Your mouth closes here and immediately opens with a shout of joy there." In this excerpt from his poem, The Pickaxe, which I'll be reading in a bit, Rumi advises us to accept the inevitability of loss and grieving that most of us will experience as we age. He wrote, "Our death is a wedding with eternity. The moment you accept what troubles you have been given, the door will open. Don't run away from the grief, O soul. Look for the remedy inside the pain." Loss always involves some form of death, but while we're living, death and loss events force us to learn and grow with acceptance and sometimes new possibilities. How we grow through senescence is often up to us. I knew people who, as they aged, only grew depressed, angry, or bitter. They missed the chance to expand themselves, to be deeper, wiser, more compassionate, mellower, even more spiritual. They could not make the most of that one chance to create a good death for themselves. We can pass through or mitigate the despair and fear of aging. Our last years or days can bring at least a sense of completeness and self-acceptance. We can consolidate our experience in learning to use aging as a process of saging. Gay Luce, in her book, Longer Life, More Joy, writes that elderhood is a time to discover inner richness for self-development and inner growth. It is also a time of transition and preparation for dying, which is at least as important as preparation for a career or family. Out of this time come our sages, healers, prophets, and models for the generations to follow. I repeat her salient philosophy that elderhood is also a time of transition and preparation for dying, which is at least as important as preparation for a career and family. I'll end this talk with a selection of quotes, choice quotes I will say, on aging and dying. Eleanor Roosevelt, "Today is the oldest you've ever been, and the youngest you will ever be." Woody Allen, "You can live to be 100 if you give up all things that make you want to live to be 100. Henri Nouwen, "Befriending our death is a lifelong spiritual task." Bill Bryson, "There are only 3 things that can kill a farmer: lightning, rolling over in a tractor, and old age." The 12th century Chinese Zen master Da Hui, "Birth is thus, dying is thus. Verse is verse, what's the fuss?" Franz Kafka, "The meaning of life is that it stops." And with that, I'll stop. Paul, would you extinguish the chalice, please, as I read out the words from Reverend Martha Munson. "We extinguish the chalice here that it might glow gently in our hearts. May it have lit our spirits as we live each day with loss and gain. May it have warmed our thoughts as we ponder the complex mystery of death within life. May your memory of it light your path as you leave this place. May it guide your way until we are together again. I would like to add one more thing to, I guess it could have been the last line of my talk, which is, if you're wondering about kind of instruction on how to have a good death, how to prepare for it, how to plan, all of that, it starts with getting over your fear of death, okay? And then the next step is to just accept it, all right? For further instruction, I highly recommend Pema Chodron's book, How We Live is How We Die. It may sound crazy that you'd have to read a whole book on this, but it not only helps you to figure out how to die, but actually how to live better. So, yeah. For our closing hymn, we've had a little technological challenge with this. And, well, for those, how many here have done karaoke before? Hands up. Oh, shush. All right, we're gonna stand up and karaoke to the pop song. Oh, Paul's a karaoke virgin, I can tell. And sing a lovely song by the poet-songwriter George Harrison. It's called The End of the Line. So are we ready to go? All right. Please stand as you are able. I hope you recognize the tune. It is a bit long. It's 3.5 minutes, but put yourself into it. And our closing words are also from Rumi. It's the conclusion of his poem, The Pickaxe. Don't run away from grief, O soul. Look for the remedy inside the pain, because the rose came from the thorn and the ruby came from a stone. Every mortal will taste death, but only some will taste life. And these are the very last words adapted from Albert Einstein. Don't grow old no matter how long you live. Never cease to stand like curious children before the great mystery into which we were born, even on your deathbed. Now, if you'd like to break into small groups, there are 2 discussion questions. Just shift your chairs around, be with your neighbors, however you feel like doing it. We've got about 15 minutes, and then it'll be time for tea and other refreshments.